Hey, Facebook world. My name is Daniel McNicholas, here with Channeling the Cosmos, helping empaths transcend trauma. And today we're talking about your mind and the negative thoughts and what can circulate and cause trauma, I guess, inside of you, which creates trauma outside of you. And negative thoughts and persistent patterns of thought, and actually our addiction to our mind in Western society, has caused just a disconnect from the well-being that surrounds us at all times. We live in a time of the most fear. At the same time, we have the most well-being. People are living a long time. People are better fed than before. Not that people aren't hungry. People are experiencing more abundance, and we are in more anxiety than ever before. And the reason is because of our addiction to our mind and addiction to our thoughts and addiction to that cycle that keeps on happening over and over again. And then thinking we're not in control of our thoughts and don't have the ability to use our minds. So no one has taught us how to use our mind. Instead, we have kind of been taught the wrong way to use our minds. We've been taught how to get things done. We've been taught how to have lists. We taught how to fit in society, but we haven't taught how to think. And we haven't taught how to imagine. And we haven't been taught how to create with our minds and how powerful it is. And it's an instrument. And what happens is our mind just destroys our lives. Like, it's literally our addiction to our thoughts and our habits. People live their whole lives not having any enjoyment because they're in constant worry and fear. You probably might see your parents. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about how the mind drives us crazy, especially as empaths. And yeah, I mean, we see people in fear and overthinking and worrying. And honestly, people think that worrying is the norm. And it's because we're so used to our mind twirling and thinking of the future, and that stress is just part of life, and struggle is part of life, and it is part of it, but it's not nearly as big of a part as we make it. And these thoughts are just twirling and twirling in your mind, and I just feel them, it's like a tornado in your head, and you can't stop it. And it's because we've been told that we need to take action to fix our lives, and then we're told that we have no control of our minds, and we've been told that doing is the way to go. And people think that once their life gets better, their thoughts will get better, and that they won't be sad and worried, and that's never the case. It doesn't matter what changes. Your patterns of thoughts are your patterns of thoughts, and your perceptions are your perceptions, and that's the only thing you can control. Everything else is out of your control. You can't control if the guy flicks you off driving or cuts you off, but you can control how you think about that situation. Your perception is all you can control. And when you let your mind run out of control, hey, thanks for joining, talking about how your mind drives you mad. I really appreciate it. And we're talking about how our perception is our only power, and what we think is really our only power. Our internal state is all we can control. And I know we talked about not controlling external circumstances, and this is how you start to control your life a little bit, and how you feel is that internal state. And thoughts just circulate so fast. And once you have the momentum going one way, you can't get it going back very fast. So it takes time to rewire that subconscious mind and those negative thought patterns that have been persisting for years and years and years. It's like, say you haven't been working out, and you want to get back in shape. Like, it takes some time, right? Because you haven't been in shape. And the mind's the same way. If you haven't been using it with positivity and creating those thoughts, then it's going to take a while and probably some help to get you there, because you've had a persistent pattern. And if you're addicted to your mind and those habitual thoughts, it is a huge problem. Like, it's affecting how your reality is created. And we have to shift that, and it takes time, and it takes coaching, and it takes help, and it takes persistence to do that. And you get to the point where you can be immune to external circumstances, where actually the conditions and how much money you have, things start not mattering as much to your happiness, because you can't give them control. Because once they have control, then you feel out of control, which makes you feel panicky and worrying. And again, that addiction to the mind is so pervasive in our society. We're addicted to figuring things out. We're addicted to solving problems ourselves. We're addicted to not using spirit in our body and our heart and our feelings. We're addicted to our minds. We think we got to figure everything out like everyone ever has. And there's times to think about things, and I'm not against that. It's just we're addicted to it to the point where we have to slowly become more present and more mindful and even other thoughts and go inward instead of being addicted to the constant chatter that we're used to. And we're comfortable without the chatter. We're a society that can't wait 10 minutes in a line anymore without looking at our phones. I mean, and this is causing disharmony with our inner selves. Tons of disharmony. And we need to unwire that. And it takes lots of persistent effort. And if you can do it yourself, I really think that's amazing if that's what you can do. But a lot of people can't. And to get out of this addiction of the mind and be more focused on our emotions, our inner state, and what's going on is really, really, really important for your well-being. Like if you want to be a happy, peaceful person, that's what you have to do. If you're looking at your phone all the time, if you're constantly needing distractions, if you're constantly needing noise, if you need your TV on your house just to be comfortable, you can do that. It's not a bad thing. It's just you're not going to be at peace. I mean, at peace is that internal state, and we know that. Everyone tells us happiness is internal. We're told that over and over again, and then we somehow keep on pursuing the external to make us happy, and it's just ridiculous. And that's your mind wanting that. So your mind thinks, once I have this, I'll be happy. And that's a mind trick. And we need to unwire that slowly to know that our internal space is what makes us happy and what allows us to function at a high level, and not letting those internal thoughts control us, and having a guide to help us mitigate and put boundaries and allow our thoughts to be and to find peace within ourselves is so important to finding the essence of who you are. And that's what we all want. And it takes unwinding that addiction to our minds and figuring things out and understanding, because this is a big, gigantic mystery we live in. And when we think we need to understand everything, it gets impossible. And we run ourselves ragged. And we get tired. And we get emotional. And we don't get to understand what life is truly about. Hey, thanks for joining in. Again, we're talking about the mind driving you mad and being addicted to your mind and your thoughts. And that circle that we call the ruminating thoughts in psychology, but it's that circling of the mind that never stops. And we have to get away from that, and we have to find a way to slow that down. And we are running, as in our bodies, most people's bodies are running 3 times faster than their bodies want to run in life. They're going 3 times faster. They're constantly, and your brain's reflecting that. And how your brain is and how your thoughts are just going to reflect how your life goes. That's just how it works. I mean, it's from psychology to law of attraction to Buddhism to even Christianity. They talked about your thoughts create everything, and it always starts in the internal nature. So when that mind is just out of control, like a child out of control, which is really what it is your inner child searching for your attention. We have to work with people to heal those parts of ourselves, of our subconscious, to find that peace that we're looking for. Especially as empaths, we just want peace. We don't really, most of the time empaths are like, I want to have $1 billion in a house. And that's a great desire. But really, we just want inner peace. And that's what we really, really desire. And we desire our minds to calm down and our bodies to relax and us to feel at ease and just it's almost like we want a deep breath in our lives and a break. And really that starts with our internal chatter taking a break and not letting our thoughts and what we perceive destroy our days. Because most of the time you're safe where you're sitting. I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, everything's great. All's well. No, there's no problems right now. There's usually not a problem. But we're running on constant fight or flight responses as there's always a problem in our external circumstances. But really, very rarely do we actually have a problem right in front of us. A problem is our perception of our lives. And we're thinking that we have a problem. But really, most of us have food and a place to sleep. If you don't, obviously, that's an actual problem that you have to solve. But most of us do. And when we can learn to use our mind as the instrument it was meant to, we can realize that most of our lives is peaceful and pretty easy. We might have to do dishes and stuff, but really, like, we live in a time of abundance and a time of thriving, and we have the ability to thrive better than we ever had before. And that's again, is a thought change. So you can think of your life as, I don't have abundance, I have nothing, or you can think of your life, I have abundance. I had this situation where I was at this guy's house, and it was a house in the mountains, a 2-bedroom house. And he's like, oh, I'm used to having a 5,000 square foot house. This is not that nice. Well, and I was like, well, I love living in the mountains in this house. So it's the same house, but two people had a different perception of what the house was. So this is the idea that we control it. That's the controlling part, is the internal nature of our minds. And the reason I know this is because I had such negative thoughts that I was going to be suicidal at one point in my life. And I was down in the dumps, and I was in the hospital, and I thought my way into a hole. Like, I thought my way down into this weariness when other people live the same life. And what I learned is it was all my thoughts, and having a teacher helping me learn to change my thoughts and how I perceive things changed my whole life. And nothing changed. My brain chemistry didn't change. My body didn't change, maybe a little bit. Really, my life might have looked worse, really, because I was kind of in a hole from where I was at. However, I viewed it as better. So it was like, oh, okay. Like, I have the power. And the idea is to take that power back and not let your external circumstances hold the power, or what happened to you hold the power. It doesn't mean what happened to you was great or was okay, but you take your power back. And taking your power back is taking your mind back and taking your perceptions back. And that's your power. And that'll help you find relief, because then you think you have some control of what's happening in your experience. And that is the control. It's your view of the movie. It's like looking at an art piece. You can view it 4 different ways. And it's your choice of perception in each moment that creates that power and creates that stability in your life. And when you know you can change your perception, then you have power, because you can't control life. Yep. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, everyone says that, but that's because it's so true. And as empaths, we have to be better perceivers of everything, because we have to perceive for ourselves and for other people. So when you see someone down, you have to see them up. You have to change their perception. If they say they're sick, you see them well. They're complaining, you compliment them. Like, you're constantly having not just to see your reality as better, but the things you're feeling is better, because that's our job. So we want to see things in the highest light possible, because that's how we create. People that are pessimistic don't change much. I've never seen a real pessimistic leader make a big change. Usually they destroy. You look at dictators, they're very pessimistic. You look at people like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and presidents you've liked or leaders you've liked, they seem to be optimistic. So that's, in our own lives, we have to become our own leaders inside and choose how we perceive, so we can be the own leaders of our own realities, because that's what we are. And by modeling that, then we become leaders. So that's the idea. And that's the power of perception. I mean, it's the only power we have. That's how Jesus healed people. He saw them well. It's not because he had any special powers given to him through some magical formula or magical words he said. He just could see sick people well. And if you believe he's real or not, anyways, that's how healers work. So that's the idea. So our thoughts create everything, and we have to learn to overcome so it's not the idea that you get them to see themselves in a better light, that you just see them in the better light. It's like seeing the best in everyone, but you don't care if they take it on or not. You're doing it for you, because by you seeing the best in them, you stay at a higher vibration. So it's kind of selfish in a weird way, but also helps other people. So the higher you can keep yourself, the better you can help other people. Exactly. But they might not take it, and that's their choice. It's not your personal responsibility to heal the other person. It's just you're holding them in a higher light, so they have the chance to rise to that light. Because it's like a coach, right? The coach would say, I believe in you, you can make the shot. They might not make the shot, but the coach at least has got to say they can make it, because they got to believe in the person. That's what a good teacher does. So it's more about that than actually anything else. Even if they miss it, at least they believed it could happen. You're not going to make the shot if you don't think you're going to make it when you go out there. It's a bad start. So that's that idea. And that unwinds the mind and takes control of it, and slowly unwinding all those subconscious patterns that are stuck. And it's so important for the well-being of your system and your mind and your heart. And it works. Again, everything I'm saying I've done, so I don't talk from lack of experience. It's what I've experienced, like I said, with my story when I was suicidal and going through all those, changing my thoughts, and that's how I changed my reality completely. And I saw from that experience, going from so far on the negative sales goes out of the positive, like how much it can work. And that's why I want to spread that word to everyone else and help people do that and allow that light to shine through, because I don't want the mind to be in the way, because it just gets in the way more than anything else. I always say it's the same thing. It's like we were given an instrument, our mind, and we weren't taught how to use it correctly at all. I'm glad you could relate, Charles. Yeah, we just weren't taught to use it. We don't know much about the mind, even on a psychological level. Like it's still a mystery. Less of a mystery than it used to be, but it's still a freaking mystery. No one knows. No one really knows where these memories are coming from or these thoughts are coming from. Like, where are they coming from? No one, that's that idea. So, but we do know certain things, and that the more you can shift your mindset, the better things go. I mean, studies have shown that. The more joyful people are, the more happy people are, the more they give. The more happy people are, the more productive they are. It's spread across. There's no evidence that when you're more joyful, you are less productive by any means, or less giving. So if you make yourself happy, you're actually helping the world, which is backwards, and we're taught, right? We have to heal other people. No, we have to heal ourselves, and that's what radiates out. People always say, I need to save the world. And I'm like, no, you got to save yourself. Then you'll save the world. I mean, everyone knows that, but there's again, because I was a person that wanted to save the world and then realized I had to save myself. So that's how I know this, but that's the case. So I want to help you all find peace in your thoughts and use it correctly. And that's what I'm really, really good at helping people do. It's my gift to give, and that's why I want to give it. And definitely reach out to me. We have ways we can do that, work together. I want to help you create the reality you want, also to just feel better, because that's really what we all want deep down. And again, we all need a coach, even me, to do this. You can't do it yourself. Like, it's so much harder to do yourself. If you're to try to do something yourself, but then you got a teacher to teach you it, and you learn it in a tenth of the time. I mean, that's the idea. That's why we get help from the people we need that are experts at certain things. So definitely reach out. I would love to help you. Send me a message on Facebook. And thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you guys watching these videos and making my dreams come true, being able to do this, because it makes my heart very happy and gives me tons of joy. So thank you so much. I will see you on the next video, and definitely reach out.